Welcome back to the James McGee Show. I am your host. I am James McGee. Uh, what a humid, foggy morning in Southwest Louisiana. Our cool weather didn't last very long. We were in the 60s and the 70s, but hey, that's life. So over here in the great Southwest Louisiana, I don't want to sound like a sissy today, but I'm just gonna say it. Man, I'm just sad. That sounds not very manly, but I'm just sad. So I am still reading off of my phone because I haven't fixed my printer yet, but that'll be fixed tonight. What I'm sad about is what's going on in the Republican Party right now. We are just something unprecedented. We showed great unity during the election last year, and for a couple of days we showed unity after Charlie Kirk was assassinated. But now we are eating each other again in just a total disgusting fashion. We are eating each other, and it's just sad. That's just the only thing I can keep coming up with is, man, I'm just sad over this. It's just disgusting and just very sad of what we're doing to ourselves. One of the biggest fights that has caused the biggest division in the Republican Party is Israel. Has been just the biggest divider among Republicans is the country of Israel. If you question anything about Israel, if you question how we are how America is putting Israel before America or getting involved in these wars, and look, we all voted for a stance of not being the world's police and not getting involved in these never-ending wars and not in being America first. The American first agenda is very, very popular in what has now somewhat become just kind of a punchline, and it's not being followed as close as some people think it should be. Some popular people, but as soon as you say something, then when you question Israel, you question of how we are putting Israel before America, it becomes you're automatically against Jewish people. How is that? How is that you were against Jewish people when you question Israel? When you question not Israel, you're not questioning Israel. When you question Americans, American leaders thinking of Israel before America, how are you against a religion? How are you against Jewish people? Because you've got people like Ben Shapiro, Mark Levin, Ted Cruz, who I absolutely can't stand, never have, just tearing into you if you say anything about Israel or question anything. It's not even questioning Israel, it's more questioning America. Like, hey, what are we doing here? We're America first. Why are we putting the interests of another country? You got these are supposed to be some of the smartest people in the nation. Mark Levin, Ben Shapiro, they claimed, and they are smart. They are very intelligent. But why can't these very intelligent people, why can't they tell the difference between a foreign country, Israel, and a religious group of people, Jewish? Why can't you tell the difference between the two? That's totally different. A foreign country and a group of and a religious group of people are totally different. We have a lot of Jewish people in America. So I don't understand why these smart people can. But, people like Megyn Kelly, who holds a lot of credibility with me, Tucker Carlson, not as much. I like him, but he does tend to go a little out there, and he does tend to go on a little biased. Megyn Kelly is, she calls balls and strikes. I mean, she has her opinions, but what she does, and what I try to mimic, is like give facts. You give facts, and then as a commentator, you give facts, and then you give your your commentary after that. And that's what I try to do. But as soon as they say America first, now they are anti-Israel. Neither one of them are. They're just questioning. We all voted for an America First agenda. So are we really getting that? Now, the biggest divider, which is just sickening to me, man, is we have screwed this up so bad. When I say we, I'm talking about us as Republicans. This biggest divider has become Epstein, the Epstein files. And this really is disheartening to me, because let's just be honest. We talked about this last night on my show with the guests that I had. I had Tom and Candace on, and we all agreed that none of us really cared or brought up Epstein files. Now, I said this last week. Republicans really screwed this up, because when you had Pam Bondi and Kash Patel and Dan Bongino during the election jumping up and down about it, made it a campaign issue. And now since they've gotten in there and they have reviewed the files, they've changed their tune. Well, I trust, at least I do trust Pam Bondi. I just don't think she's as competent as we thought she was, but I do trust her as far as her ethics. And when you have, and I trust Kash Patel and Dan Bongino's ethics. So if they're saying, hey, there's no, I don't want to rehash last week too much, but the bottom line is we didn't really care about the Epstein file until now, and all of a sudden we care, and now Donald Trump is protecting pedophiles. This is just ridiculous, And if you say things, I said a lot of things last week, and all of a sudden I'm a person who's protecting pedophiles. I'm not. I despise pedophiles, but right is right. And I will never come off of the stance of, unless people are criminally charged, they should not be, their name should not be released because their phone number was in Epstein's phone, or they were sometime mentioned in an email by Epstein. We're not entitled to that. And like I said, I don't want to keep rehashing that, but this has just caused a big divide in our country. And I got a couple of videos I want to play. So one of the biggest critics of the Epstein files and the release has been Marjorie Taylor Greene. And I'll tell you, if there's any person that I'm bipolar about, it's MTG. I go back and forth, Sometimes I think she's a nut job, and sometimes I think she makes a lot of sense. I think she is intelligent. I think she has I think her intentions are right. She is totally America first. She's not just America first. She's like me on this. She's America only. I'm an America only guy. I don't, I know we have to care about other countries, and it all affects us. I know there's a big picture out there, so I'm not being critical. But when it comes to my personal beliefs, I care about America, and I care about Americans. So I do, her and I have that same stance, but I'm also not a U.S. congressman. And I think that she is too radical. She has brought some things on herself. Let me get to some of these videos. Let's go with this one with her. And I got some opinions on how she is portraying herself as a victim now. And I want to let's go to this video first.
When virtually no one else did. Campaigned all over the country, spent millions of my own dollars helping him get elected. And I think that's incredibly important. And I do support him and his administration. And I support them in delivering the campaign promises we made to the American people. His remarks, of course, have been hurtful. However, I have something in my heart that I think is incredibly important for our country. And that is to end the toxic fighting in politics. And this has been going on for years, and it has divided our country, split up friends and families. neighbors, and it's not solving our problems. The most hurtful thing he said, which is absolutely untrue, is he called me a traitor. And that is so extremely wrong. And those are the types of words you.
So here's my thoughts on this. Look, I'm going to get into real strong into the way that we attack others and the endorsements and all this, and primarying people and all that. But this is my deal with her. She paraded these victims of Epstein, paraded them at the Capitol on the steps, had this big press conference, and she made threats. She said for the women to get their list together of who victimized them, so they can just tell her, hey, this is who victimized me, with no proof, no credibility. And she was going to get on the House floor and announce it. That's a pretty strong statement. And what did you expect, Marjorie? What did you expect when you did that? What did you expect people to do? Now, I don't like what's being done to her. And I'm going to play some of these other videos. I don't like it. But Marjorie, what do you expect? You got out there and threatened some very powerful people and pretty much say, hey, if these women give me the names, then I'm coming after you. That's not okay. That's the kind of stuff that negates what you do. It negates the good things that you do, and you do have balls. You do stand up, and you have taken no money from AIPAC. You've done those things, but you negate that when you say crazy things like that. And that's what puts a target on your back. You're not listening to why people like Donald Trump are not just, we're not in favor of just dumping 100,000 pages of documents. That's just not how this thing works. And so, like I said, I'm not going to keep rehashing last week. You can go back and look at my Thursday and Friday videos, and it shows exactly where I stand on the release of Epstein. But what I don't like, what I do not like, and I absolutely despise, is when, we talk about, we call ourselves a free society, right? And often we talk about, the threat to democracy and these things. The biggest threat to democracy, and this is on both sides, guys, this is on absolutely both sides. And we talk about threats to democracy and kings and all this other stuff. Well, let me tell you what the problem is. And this is actually state-wise, regionally, this is in your local elections. We call ourselves a free society, but the minute you disagree, this is where I'm going to defend Marjorie. The minute you disagree with somebody, and Tom Massey, and I'm not a Tom Massey fan, but you know what? The people in Tom Massey's district elected him. The people in Marjorie Greene's district elected them. Even though I don't agree with some of the things they're doing, a lot of the things they're doing right now, it is their constituents' responsibility to vote them in or vote them out. I am so fucking tired of when the establishment on both sides. Look what they're doing right now with John Fetterman. They're going to primary him because they don't like what he did. Democrats don't like what he did. So us Republicans, we don't like what Marjorie Greene and Tom Massey did. So we're going to primary and get them out. That's not your fucking job. That's not what you are for. That is constituents in their area. But here's the deal. The American voter, and I always say this, and I'm going to continue to say this, the American voter is the problem, because what we do is we give too much credibility to people who have fooled us for years, and we give these politicians or former politicians like Barack Obama, give them credibility, and they get up there and they start endorsing people. Well, let me tell you about these endorsements, and this is at every level. Start being very leery of endorsements. Actually, when you hear somebody endorse, get very leery to the point of you start looking into what's in it for them. Because you think Barack Obama, it's about power to him. He doesn't care about you. It's about what's going to give him. If he can say, hey, I put this person in office. I was able to put the Virginia governor in office. Now, what do I need from Virginia governor or the AG? Or that's what it's about to them at every level. It's not about you. So where we're failing is what we're failing at is we are allowing people to control our vote by this type of power. And you know what? I say this as a disclaimer. I support Donald Trump. I always will because I like what he stands for. I like his policies. But do I like some of the things he does? Absolutely not. I think some of the things that he's doing right now is disgusting. And shame on you, Donald Trump, for doing some of the things that you were doing. I'm going to play this video. So that's what I'm sick of. You know why? That's the kind of stuff we should be handling in house. We should not. That should be in private. But that's, you know, that's what he does. That's what his strategy is. And in 2 weeks they'll probably make up. But you don't call people. You know, she is big supporter. What she was saying earlier was right. She has been one of his biggest advocates. She does support his agenda, but she spoke up. I think she crossed the line with some of the things that she said, but she still had a right to say it. It's not. So now they're going to primary her. That's not the president of the United States' responsibility is to start primarying people. Worry about your election. Let the voters in Georgia and every other district worry about who they're voting for. And that's where I stand on this. And it's we have got to, and I'm gonna say it again, it's the American voters' fault because we're not controlling, we're not in control of our elections because we're not taking control. It's time for us as American voters to take control and stop listening to fucking endorsements of washed up politicians like Barack Obama. That's where we have got to stop doing. Until we do that, we have no democracy. We have no free country. Let's go to Mama Luke of the day. I've already mentioned his name, Ben Shapiro. What a fucking Mama Luke. But he's not a Mama Luke for what he did as far as attacking other conservatives. He's attacking the American worker. Watch this shit.
Dreams of like working really hard and retiring. How dare you? How dare you? Here's Ben Shapiro.
No one in the United States should be retiring at 65 years old. Frankly, I think retirement itself is a stupid idea unless you have some sort of health problem. It's totally insane that you believe that you should be able to work from the time that you are essentially 20 to the time that you are 65, which is a 45-year period, pay in, and then you will receive Social Security benefits sufficient to support you and your family for like another 20 years. That's crazy talk.
Okay. Good God. And look, Ben Shapiro, I don't like him, but he is a very accomplished man, very intelligent man. Is an attorney, became a very successful, built a successful media company, which I do subscribe to, and I do, there's value in Ben Shapiro and his organization. As a person, personally, I don't like him. Who the fuck are you? This is why people, Ben Shapiro, you fucking Mama Luke. This is why people say Republicans are out of touch. It's people like you. So you're saying that a man who worked construction for 40 years at 65 years old shouldn't retire? Well, you're in a cushy, I mean, you're an intelligent guy and you do some work intellectual, but what was the last time you done hard labor? Do you know what it's like on your body to do hard construction or hard labor? So you're never supposed to retire? Fuck you. That's why people, some people despise Republicans and call them elitists. Most Republicans are not like him. They're like me. They are working people. But what a fucking Mameluke, Ben Shapiro. So congratulations, Ben Shapiro. You're today's Mameluke of the day. Until tomorrow, remember, nobody's coming to save you. The world doesn't give a fuck. McGee is out.